Hi everyone, my name is Chandra Prabha Sharma and I secured AIR 239 in the UPSC Civil Services Examination 2023. And on my Telegram channel, one very common question that was being asked was with regards to sleep, especially with around 43 days left for Prelims 2024. A lot of us may be facing challenges when it comes to either waking up early so that we feel alert for the 9:30 to 11:30 slot of GS paper. Or we may even be night owls and we might just want to now switch our study schedule to the morning slot. So we'll be dealing with this very commonly asked question, and I'll just share my screen for some of the resources. This is purely based on the resources that helped me. And yes, I will just start sharing my screen and we can go over some things that helped me. So this is the most common question that is currently being asked. And let's just shift this here. All right. So we had fellow aspirants who have been asking questions. Some of them are worried about being night owls, and they're also trying to change their routine now because as all of you know, the GS paper will happen between 9:30 to 11:30. So we have to make sure that our minds and bodies are very active and alert for that schedule, for that time slot. So that's the main goal here on how do we truly be alert and active. Also, one of the things that I've been telling my community members is that whatever happens, you have to keep your mind awake even now. With 43 days left, you have to make sure that your mind is very active and is studying during this time slot. So from tomorrow, what you can do is wake up and make sure that you hit your study table at this time. Now, there are three types of students so close to prelims. One type will be students who are night owls, like I said earlier, and even students have been saying that in their FAQs as well. The second ones are they're not night owls, but they're also struggling with waking up early on time, or even simply waking up fresh and truly being alert during this time slot. And then the third ones are, of course, those who have cracked this and are able to be very, very active at this time. So if you think that you are active and alert here, I would say save your time. And you could maybe continue with the video, but there are some things in the video that may just help you remain more alert if that is something you're aiming to do. I also want to tell you that I've been there. I have also faced this challenge. I used to study late myself, and this was around the same time in 2023 as well, 30 days before the prelims, the final prelims, that I wanted to change my schedule. And so this is some of the things that helped me. This is some of the background about me. I'll just keep this on and you can just put a pause and see it if you like. But most importantly, UPSC for me was a challenge of mental health. And not just a challenge, but also an opportunity for me to learn and make myself more aware about mental health. So I do aim to share these mental health tools that help me, but also I'm not a medical professional, right? So whatever I'm sharing is something that is coming from my personal experience. And if you do think you need medical help, please do consult medical professionals. That's very important. Having said that, let's just look at two most important things. So what we tend to do when we think of, okay, I want to wake up, and if that's your goal, we focus on the waking up early aspect, right? But waking up early depends on two things. And you'll be surprised to know that waking up early actually depends on your bedtime schedule of the night before. And then it really depends on your wake up routine, right? So the problem is that most of us will focus here and we'll get very overwhelmed. But the challenge is that we can't really ace this. We can't ace our wake up routine unless we really fix our bedtime routine. So this is foundational. Okay. I'll talk about what I mean when I say bedtime routine and wake up routine. So when I say why bedtime routine is important and what helped me is first I'll talk about the role of sunlight. Now, I used to follow Dr. Andrew Huberman. I'll link some of his resources. This is him. In that, Andrew Huberman usually talks about the role of sunlight. What you can do. So now sunlight, and this is another thing for UPSC aspirants, a little fact as well, that sunlight determines two things. It actually regulates your circadian rhythms, and it also regulates the production of melatonin in your body, right? Which is also what regulates sleep. So the role of sunlight in bedtime, what I used to do is I used to ensure that I get exposed to the sunset. So I would usually go to the balcony if I didn't have time and just watch the sunset, or I would even go for a walk if that's possible. When you watch the sunset or even the dimming light, it's a signal to your brain that yes, the day has set and it is now time to wrap your night and begin the night routine. So this is something you can do. The second thing you can do is try to stop your last meal 2 to 4 hours before your bedtime. So let's say you aim to sleep by 12 in the night, 12 midnight. Your ideal time to really wrap your meal. So I would ensure that I finish dinner by 8:30. What this does is it reduces any digestion issues that can happen, because of which you will also have better quality sleep, right? So that is the other thing. One very important thing for aspirants is blue light, which is screen time. So what I would do is I would try to stop looking at the screen 2 hours before bed. And the reason for this is that blue light also messes with your circadian rhythm. So you want to reduce your exposure to blue light at least 2 hours before you go to bed. For this, what I would do is I would do revision using my notes. So any hard copy, or I would look at books, or I would look at printed material. But what I would do is I would not revise using screen 2 hours before bed. The other thing you can do is you could also install, there's a app called Flux, which is free of cost. You could install that, and what it does is it really regulates the type of light that your screen emits to reduce your exposure to blue light. So that's something you could do. The other thing I would also make sure is that I would not binge either Netflix or any series just before bed, or even look at reels. The other thing a lot of aspirants or a lot of us end up doing is we look at reels, and this is endless, right? We start once and it's an entire rabbit hole. So ye bhi nahi karna hai. So no binging. You can install Flux, and you can also ensure that you stop screen time 2 hours before bed. So we discussed blue light screen time as part of your bedtime routine. The next thing, and this is a very frequently asked question, is that you worry about the next day, or you worry about your goals. You might also worry about the targets that you have and the targets you need to complete. How I would address this is that I would do two things. I would do journaling, and this could be handwritten or you could even type it. I would recommend handwriting. It reduces screen time and it is also quite therapeutic. So what you could do is you could really write about your achievements and things that you are proud of, because you really can't build without acknowledging the achievements that you have. So acknowledge your achievements, write things that you are proud of, write things that you are grateful about that happened in the day, right? So this will be your positivity journal from the day. And then what you'll do is, if you've missed any target, you will just note it down. You will write it down and you will plan for the next day, which will also include targets that you may have missed, right? Missed targets. So when you do this, what happens is your mind has now taken care of these worries, right? So you can postpone your worries or you could put them to rest. So this is important. This is what helped me. Journaling and planning for the next day really helped me address the problem of worrying excessively, right? So we had multiple FAQs here. and both mentioned things like I dwell into thoughts or overthinking, right? These problems. So what you can do is just journal. And what will you journal about? You'll journal about your achievements, and you'll also write down the targets for the next day. That's very, very important. What I would also do is I would meditate for 10 minutes before sleeping. We can do another session on this, but my meditation is very simple. I would just inhale, exhale, and there are certain exercises that I would do which were called either thoughts on a cloud or thoughts on a wheel, and we could look at some of these exercises in another session. Just let me know in comments if that is something that interests you. The next one is also phone and discipline. So I would actually keep my phone away from my bed, sometimes even outside my bedroom. If that is something you can do without worrying about your parents needing you or someone needing you, um, ideally your phone should be away if you are hitting the bed. So just try that and maintain discipline. When it is time to sleep, you will sleep and not, get distracted. A sleep cycle is another one. We usually have sleep cycle of 90 minutes each. The recommended cycle, I've written 4 to 5 here, but it is actually 4 to 6. So what I would do is I would do 7.5 hours of sleep, and I would make this a priority, as important as my studies themselves. In many videos and many strategy sessions with students, I have been talking about how sleeping is as important as studying. And the reason for that is because I'll just clear this 1 second. All right. So the reason why it is important to prioritize sleep as much as studies is because when you are awake, you are absorbing facts, right? But it is only in your sleep that you are consolidating these facts, because sleep ensures memory formation, right? So that is why you have to prioritize your sleep. And what is recommended is 4 to 6 hours of sleep. 4 to 6 cycles of 90 minutes each, which amounts to around 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep. The next thing we come to is the wake up routine. So often, and this was a problem with me as well in waking up early. And earlier, what I would do is I would just stress one night before about, my gosh, I have to wake up early, and I would get really very worried about this. Like I would get very stressed that I have to wake up early, I have to wake up early. What I actually changed is the mindset. And what I did is I just took it as something I looked forward to. Now, in the day, what I loved is I actually loved listening to music. So I looked forward to listening to music. So for me, as soon as I would wake up and I would do my meditation for 10 minutes, which is something also I looked forward to. And then I would basically play music and exercise. So instead of waking up early being a very harrowing and a troublesome task for me, I made it something fun and something that I looked forward to. That's something you could do. Of course, physical health being important, I would also exercise. So this is about mindset. The other tool that I actually used was the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins. And this helped me initially. And after that, I switched to the music part. But I will link Mel Robbins' 5-second rule as well in my description. And what this is all about is, if you're really struggling to do something, all you have to do is count to 5. It sounds like a very simple trick, but it worked for me. And I will link the video. And because what happens is, and this derives from sports where they will count us down. So if you have seen a relay or a race, there'll be a person who will count you down 3, 2, 1. right? So as soon as the brain hits one, it becomes alert to the next action that has to be done. So that's why Mel Robbins also talks about the 5-second rule in detail, and you could look that up. I'll just put the resources there as well. The next thing is role of sunlight again here. So we spoke of role of sunlight in the evening. Now we talk about the role of sunlight in the morning. So what Dr. Huberman actually says is that as soon as you wake up, if you just go to the balcony, or even if you just go down and expose yourself to the sun. So what that does is your brain becomes aware that yes, it is daytime, and will regulate your melatonin accordingly and bring you back to alertness faster. So that's the role of sunlight. Hydration also helps because when you are sleeping throughout the night, your body is extremely dehydrated. So hydration helps you wake up faster as well. And then what you do is you execute your plan. So the thing that helps with the wake up routine is planning the night before. This is very essential, especially for UPSC aspirants, because what happens is, and this goes back to anybody who is feeling like they're very overwhelmed or they're worried about completing their targets and completing syllabus for prelims, is that when you have a plan and you've planned the night before, the next day when you start work, you will feel less overwhelmed, right? And you will know exactly what you have to do. Also, you will have less guilt. Why? Because any target that was missed the previous day, you can cover that the next day, right? So it's just a kinder way for yourself if you plan better. So that really helps. There's also the power of napping, which used to help me. So 20-minute naps, actual naps, or also something known as the non-sleep deep rest. I can also link this NSDR. इसको योग निद्रा भी बोलते हैं in fact. So NSDR, let me just erase this. All right. So I will share this resource as well. There is something known as NSDR, which in our culture is known as Yoga Nidra, which can be quite powerful. But 20-minute power naps, they can also help consolidate your memory. So if you were done with, let's say, 2 to 3 hour, no, not 2 to 3 hour, but 2 to 3 slots of 2 hours each, then a nap is something that could actually help you regain your alertness and fuel yourself better. So yes, this is what helped me in terms of better sleep habits. And this is something that is also known as better sleep hygiene, right? Which directly affects our ability to wake up early so that we are alert from 9:30 to 11:30 when we truly need our brain to work for that GS paper on 16th of June, right? So having said that, in summary, make sure that you have a very healthy and a very scientifically grounded bedtime routine, which included reducing your screen time or stopping screen time at least 2 hours before bed. It included finishing your meals 2 to 4 hours before bed. You could also watch the sunset so that your brain gets informed that it is nighttime. Of course, no phone binging. So yes, this was the bedtime. Most importantly, journaling if it helps you, if you can get into that habit. Planning for the next day, and also meditation. Having said that, the next one in summary is the actual wake up time. So when you wake up, in summary, expose yourself to the sunrise, or you could basically just go to the balcony and look at the sun. Don't look at the sun directly, but just expose yourself to sunlight. The second one being hydrate. Even that can help you become alert better. And do something you look forward to. If it's music, great. If it's exercise, great. And then you could also do meditation and then look at your plan and then execute it, right? This is something you could do. Of course, one very important thing that I mentioned in Wake Up is at least for the first 1 hour, if you can, stay away from your phone. Don't let your phone be the first thing you see, even if it's Telegram or WhatsApp, even if it's studies or YouTube. Don't try to avoid seeing your phone for the first half an hour, if not 1 hour, right? So, yes, this is what I had. I hope this helped. Let's keep the conversation going on mental health and also on sleep, if that is something that is still bothering you. What you could do is you could add your questions in the comments. You could also send me your progress on how you are feeling with regards to sleep, if anything helped or not. Let me know if something did not help, and we can figure out how to improve that. But in the comments, just maybe put an affirmation. क्या करेंगे हम कमेंट्स में एक एफर्मेशन डाल दो एनीथिंग लाइक आई विल improve my sleep habit, right? So you could do that. एक affirmation डाल दो so that you also feel like this is a target, and let's see, we'll try to achieve it, right? So we'll try to achieve this goal, and I'll see you in the next session. Keep sending me your questions, and yes, all the very best for prelims 2024, and I'm sure all of you will ace it. Good luck and take care, and prioritize your mental health as much as you prioritize your studies.